Pretty Little Liars, the TV show, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We provided a list of content warnings in the episode description. Welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And we have Herman, but you can't see him. He's off camera, but he's watching us.
Just off camera to the left.
Yeah, so, if you hear any corgi noises, just know he's there.
He is.
And he knows nothing. He does not pay attention when we watch the show.
No, he's usually sleeping. But we'll give him a mic next time.
I don't think we need to give him a mic.
I mean, maybe he has something to say.
He's pretty vocal.
Exactly. But I mean, he might need his own mic. Just for best audio quality.
I feel like he's loud enough to not need a mic.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you introduce us?
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
I said, I'm Emily, and you said I'm Brenton.
Huh?
And then I said Herman was over there, and that's how we got here.
Take it again from the top. It's my Adderall addiction that's really throwing this whole off.
Right. Uh-huh.
Obviously, there's probably a better way to kind of show drug addiction and things like that, and it is not to make light of it, a serious thing that can happen.
Yeah.
But I am excited for this plotline for Spencer.
I think it's this is a plotline I was excited for because I remember it being really good, for the show.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's she knows or thinks she knows something, and we already know what that is.
This is so good in that scene of just yeah, I wonder who. Is this the second time that Spencer's been clued in on something about Fitz that she didn't tell Arya? Did she know about Maggie and Malcolm before Arya? No.
No, that was when she called. Fitz didn't think that anyone else knew, and Spencer confronted Fitz because of a text from A. And
what was it? Oh,
she thought that Fitz broke up with Arya because of Maggie. It was
oh, okay.
And she yells at him in the park.
Yes.
And he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
But we've talked before about the audience knowing things before everybody else. I think actually it should just be Spencer should know everything before everybody else. It's so much better.
Yeah, and so I really enjoyed this plotline and where it goes, and this is how we get to one of my favorite conceptually episodes, which is the black and white episode. I couldn't tell you if it's good on execution. I don't remember, but as a concept, I was like, that's fun.
I'm interested. I've seen screen caps and things. And when I was poking around on cohost.org at Dead Ends, I don't know I started a co-host for our podcast.
Okay, it'll be in the link tree.
Yeah. It will be soon. By the time this goes up, but it's on our pages at least. That someone had put together, they had some clips up about it because I was carefully looking around the Pretty Little Liars tag, which isn't very big at the moment. But I saw some screen caps and things. I'm oh yeah, this definitely looks interesting.
Yes,
it looks very fun.
It's very fun.
And I think also Emily being super mad at Spencer is a really good time. Because she's absolutely right. Yes. I would 100% be mad. And we get the kind of God, I can't think of what to call it. But it's dangling Allie in front of us only to be pulled away. Oh no, you brought someone here, she's gotta get away. Dangling her in front of the audience.
We dangle the alley carrot for a little bit, know.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was oh, is there any interest in I'm you could totally see that this would be Spencer's A sort of thing, and you're kind of it was all Arya.
I feel everyone always thought it was Arya was A. Mm-hmm. Or they were at this point it was okay, it's Fitz. So it's not Arya.
Right.
Because we would see them working together instead of them hiding shit from each other.
Right.
So that was the good evidence against that. I think in later seasons, again, it becomes ooh, what if Arya was A? And I personally feel the last season would have been more interesting if Arya was A. But
stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. Or if they had done what they end up doing with her character instead of the characters they did it with.
God. Is that the twist I know about?
Yeah, it's the one you saw.
Okay. All right.
Hello, Spencer.
I'm sure everybody else already knows too, but we'll mention it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in case you aren't.
And if you aren't, that was your hint.
Yep. Scooch the camera over.
But yeah, I think from what I remember, then it became, okay, if it's Fitz, I still remember being like, okay, it could be Fitz, or it could be like, you know, like we know somehow Cece's tied in,
right?
And we know somehow, like, you know, Mona's at some point been in, so like, how does that play in, and why doesn't she know, and what's happening with her and Fitz then? If he's A, then why isn't Mona working with him?
Right.
And why, like, what's her angle?
And especially this episode, you go like, what is her angle? Which I'm very excited about. They brought back, you know, we talked about, like, or I mentioned, I'm like, yep, didn't bring Mike back for this one. They brought him back for the right episode.
Yes. So Mike's relationship with Mona is something I was waiting for you, because I was like, oh, I think you'll think this is hilarious.
It's so funny. And because it's so, it's just so, like, nice and good on paper, and then Arya, it just seems like a maniac trying to be like, what are you trying to get out of these people? Group counselor? Like, how dare you go to therapy, Mike?
But like, also, like, Mona tried to kill them.
Right. So it's like, you see it, but like the way it's set up is that Arya is just like completely disarmed. It just looks like she's just like making these wild accusations because people are trying to better themselves. It's good. So
and then, you know, Jake in his punching bag.
Yes. Well, we will. Should we get to the episode descriptions and then we can give our farewell to Jake?
Yes.
What's the like 5-gun salute?
The 21 gun salute?
21. Down 16. Well, I mean, we could
7 guns 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, interesting. 7 guns 3 times. Wonder why.
I think it's a 21 gun salute.
I bet it sounds much more correct than
I know my phone's charging because I need to be able to read it for the question, so I can't look this up for you right now.
So in my version, we have 3 people that then fire once, and then only 2 of them get to fire the second time.
Your math wasn't mathing good. I think, I don't know. We'll have to look it up. I'm sure there's like a legitimate like reason and decision-making process behind that, and why 7 or whatever. But
neither of us are part of the military.
No.
Well, let's get to the things we do know about. Episode 87, Season 4, Episode 16, Close Encounters. The friends drive to the Busy Bee Inn on a lightless road. They arrive and search and find
lightless road? That's
what I put. There's no street lights, like, sort of thing.
I was like, dark.
What do you mean? A dark road, I guess, yeah.
But that's because I was like, there's no lights.
So what the hell? It is, in fact, very dark. But we can see them because they're lit. They arrive and search an abandoned place as they carry around like weapons, like looking around in case someone jumps them. They see that a window is broken and a bunch of clothes littering the ground. They wonder if Allie got in a fight with A there. And then the door behind them closes, and written into the wood, like etched in, says, "You're too late." Signed A. My guess is A was as late as well. Emily and Hannah talk on the phone, and they're worried about what happened to Alison. Hannah doesn't think Alison was even staying there, and it seemed it was all set up to throw them off. Ding, ding, ding. Emily is at the church, dropping off pie for the bake sale. She hangs up, and someone enters the church behind her, but Emily doesn't see them sneak away. Spencer's at Toby's apartment, opens the door to find her dad. He's surprised to find her there because he's actually there to see Toby and thought she was staying at Hannah's. He tells her to leave, and she has to go home now. Spencer says, "Not before you tell Mom what's happening between you and Jessica." Peter says Jason fell off the wagon again, and they're trying to get him into rehab, and he was arrested for starting a fight in the bar, and they wanted to keep it a secret. He doesn't want to bring up the dealer emphasis to Veronica at all. He's like, "I'm not lying, I'm just not sharing everything. There's a difference."
Fun fact, there's not. Omitting the truth.
Spoken like a lawyer.
Yeah.
Toby.
Not ideal.
Right. And they also mentioned that the Spencer's like, that's why you didn't want to mention the divorce to Jason. And he's like, yes, that's the reason. Toby comes downstairs in a towel. Everybody's favorite. Crowd goes wild. Peter says, "Put some pants on, we need to talk." Arya's
a real man wouldn't care if he was wearing pants.
That's right. Sit down, son. Arya is at Fitz's. Fitz is too busy to hang out that night, and proposes that they go to the cabin tomorrow. But Arya doesn't want to go like out all the way out there. Arya gets a text from Jake, and Fitz is like, "Oh, he's back in town," and he gets sore about her splitting time between them. And Arya reassures him that she's going to break up with Jake today, and that Fitz is the one. Hannah, yeah,
You know what? I love Jake.
we all love Jake. We love Jake here. This is a Jake positive space.
We're a team. I think Jaria is Jason, so I don't know what Arya and Jake are.
Jakarate.
Does that have Arya in it at all?
Jake, Arya, karate.
Where's the Arya in it?
Jakarate. The A is Arya.
Not karate.
Nope.
It's Christ.
Come on, all those Jackrat heads out there. Hannah and Spencer are going through her closet as Hannah is purging all her clothes. Spencer is like, "Why the hell are you doing this? Like, why don't you just talk about your feelings?" And Hannah's like, "No." And then Spencer's like, "This is your favorite skirt." And Hannah's like, "No, it was Caleb's favorite skirt, and he's moved on, so will I." Ashley comes upstairs, and she's also surprised at the purge because they don't do that in this household, and tries to get Hannah to calm down, but Hannah won't listen. Emily hears a creak in the church. She goes to try all the other doors, but they're all locked. Shana appears behind her, saying she has a message from Allie. Shana says she wants you all to stop looking for her. You almost got her killed. Emily says, "You don't know her." And Shana says, "I've known her since I was 3. Her grandparents lived next door to like where I lived. And I came to Rosewood to investigate who was after her. And that includes Jenna. I had to get like close to the enemy." Enemy tells her to prove it. Radley is offering Toby a settlement. Toby says, "What happened to us shutting the place down?" And Peter says, "We were in a hard place because there's no one to testify against Radley." He spoke with Toby's dad, and he's open to signing the agreement with them. But Toby has to sign also. Arya visits Jake. He's happy to see her, but she's acting all weird. He asks her to lunch, and she agrees, but then goes, "No, actually, I've been doing some thinking." And he's like, "You're back with Ezra. And like, I can handle the truth. Just tell me." And Arya says, "Sorry." She's like, "I hope we can still be friends." And Jake, ever the nice guy, says, "I'll need a little time for that." Spencer reviews the agreement, and Toby can't talk about what happened to his mom at Radley. Toby's upset because Peter says we don't have a case. They don't have a case. Spencer says, "That seems suspicious. How do we know this story is true? Who was like the patient that was up on the roof and all those things?" And Toby is like worried about court getting ugly, and, like dragging up like past information on like his mom and stuff like that. Spencer says, "Maybe you need all the information. Maybe you need more information before you can sign this." Emily talks to the friends about Shana and Alison. Shana is supposed to find out what Alison told Emily when she pulled her out of the barn to prove that she's, close with Alison. They wonder why Alison would trust Shana more than them. Spencer thinks Shana is still an A minion. Arya goes, "Come on, Emily. Would Shana really move from Georgia just to get revenge for her childhood friend?" I'm like, where have you been? Travis visits Hannah. Hannah invites him to play pool, which is now in the living room because a pipe burst in the basement. We only have one set here, Travis. Shauna tells Emily that Alison gave her a choice. Could have gone somewhere else. Shauna tells Emily that Allie gave her a choice to go with her after the fire, and she kissed Emily before she left. Shauna says Allison's always on the move. She never tells me where she is, so I'd never know. And she's known about Alison being alive since Mona left Radley. Emily can meet Alison tonight, but she has to go alone. Emily asks why me, and Shauna says, "I guess you really were her favorite." Travis and Hannah play pool. Travis says you don't have to pretend to be okay, but Hannah shuts him down. He then does the classic move of like, "Oh, let me show you how to do the pool shot by putting my body against yours." And then she sinks the shot. Emily tells Spencer about Shauna. Emily dug up Shauna, looked up Shauna, and she did, in fact, live next to Allison's grandparents. She tells Spencer about the meet, and Spencer doesn't believe it and wonders, why just you? Spencer says it's A doing this, don't believe it, and Emily believes it's Alison based on the conversation with Shauna. Spencer doesn't want her to go alone, but Emily says, "No, I told you in confidence, I'm going to go alone, and I didn't want to lie to you, so don't make me sorry that I did." Arya comes home and finds a box. It's a gift from Jake, and she looks up the return address to go return it to him. Spencer comes home, and Peter invites her to stay for family dinner since Veronica is coming home. She asks about the agreement and why Peter backed down. He says, I did what's best for Toby's family. This is the guy's line. Spencer doesn't believe it, and he says, let me worry about my clients. Jake then leaves the store and sees Fitz arguing with a woman in a car. Fitz smacks the car as it drives away, and he yells at her that this isn't over. Travis and Hannah play pool. He goes to leave, and she kisses him. He pulls away, and he's like, you're just getting out of a relationship. Like, maybe you need some time, but she pushes forward. He wants to give her more time again, but again, she pulls in. Ashley comes home and interrupts them. She has to speak to Hannah alone. Ashley thought Travis was just a friend. Travis rounds the corner to say goodbye, and then Ashley points out the hickey on his neck, and he's like, oh.
Oh, it's lipstick.
Oh, lipstick.
It's just
yeah.
a
It's
lipstick
just a
print.
lipstick mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, fair enough. Hannah is mad at her mom, and Ashley says, I'm just trying to help. Hannah says, I'm tired of people telling me what to do and feel and do about getting over Caleb. Spencer sees Peter's briefcase on the coffee table and goes and opens it. Finds the file on Toby's mom, and there's a letter from Radley that has Jessica, that has the full board's name on it, and Jessica De Laurentiis is on there. Peter is angry at her for looking at us and says this doesn't impact the facts of the case. Peter goes off to go pick up Veronica from the airport. Spencer calls Toby and tells him not to sign the agreement. And once you get this, I'm coming over right now. Call me back when you get this message. Hannah lies in bed listening to music, and Ashley comes in and tells her to put her coat on. They're going out. Arya visits Jake to return the gift, and he says, keep it. What am I going to do with it? I don't know any other Aryas. She sits there awkwardly before finally letting him leave. As she walks away, just to leave him alone. Sorry, she was going to leave. As she walks away, he stops her and says, I don't know why you'd want to be with a guy like Fitz. Arya's confused and asks him to explain. He's like, I saw him, I saw him yelling at a woman, and she's like, no, he was in Philly all day. And he's like, Fitz, he's like, I always wondered if Fitz was the one that you were afraid of. And Arya says, I'm not afraid of him. He's totally fine. And Jake says, maybe you should be. And she's like, he doesn't have a mean bone in his body. And he warns her to keep her eyes open. Ashley takes Hannah to go break plates, which seems very fun. Arya waits in Fitz's apartment, and he's excited to see her. She asks how it was meeting his friend in Philly, and Fitz like, oh, it was great catching up with him. Arya's like, well, Jake saw you today. Did you even go to Philly? He's like, no. There's that woman I yelled at was Maggie's lawyer. She's trying to prevent me from seeing Malcolm, who's not my son, but I want to see him. And then Arya's confused why he'd want that and why he would keep it from her. And Fitz says, we were just getting our footing back. I didn't want to upset you. Fitz says, I didn't have a violent outburst. It was heated, and maybe Jake is just trying to make me look bad. He apologizes for not telling her, and Arya says, it's okay. I know your baggage, so I'm happy. Famous last words. Shana drives Emily to a warehouse for the meeting and isn't going to go in with Emily to meet Alison. Shana is driving a modern. This is a Brenton note. She's driving a modern blue Mustang. So Jenna's car was the light powder blue older Mustang. And Shana drives off. Emily walks around and Alison appears. Allie cries and tells her she misses her so much and it's been so hard staying away. Emily tries to get her to help her, and Allison's like, I don't know who I can trust. I'm not sure about everybody else. She's like, you really never stopped caring about me, Emily, and I'm so sorry for how I treated you all those years. Allie says, I thought I knew who I was and who was after me, but I was wrong. And then we see someone with long hair circling around the back. We then hear a noise, and Alison gets spooked and runs off. Spencer rounds the corner, and Alison gets in a freight elevator and leaves, and Emily tries to stop her and yells at her, but it's too late, and then looks angrily back at Spencer. Spencer wonders how Alison even disappeared that quick. Emily's pissed off, and Spencer kind of half apologizes, and Emily says, this bridge is now burned. Look at what you did. Spencer says, Alison is just playing games with us. She was pulling you away to divide us. And he says she was sincere tonight, and then realizes Spencer, because of the clues that Spencer was saying about the conversation, listened the whole time. Spencer says, we have to listen. Emily, I know you're mad, but we have to stick together. Emily yells at her and leaves. Spencer kicks a metal container and then smash cut to Hannah breaking plates, which I thought was very good. Spencer visits Toby as there's an even better one actually next episode. Spencer visits Toby as he's sitting alone crying. She tells him about Jessica being on the board, and he's like, I signed the agreement, but I spoke to my dad and we decided we're moving on. Spencer tries to get him to follow up on this, and Toby says, doesn't matter anymore, let it go. Hannah sits alone and leaves a voicemail for Caleb, wondering where things went wrong, and says it was the best year of her life. Fitz and Arya enjoy a night together as Jake punches his anger out at his dojo. He goes to kick his punching bag and falls over in pain and finds inside the bag is a bunch of knives.
The worst.
And then back to Fitz and Arya kissing as ominous music plays. At the school in the hall, Black Hoodie opens up a locker, pulls out a photo of 2 little girls, and rips it in half and sets one half on fire. We can assume it is Alison and Shana.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you ready for my question?
I'm ready.
You're in the hot seat. How long until Allie comes home?
End of season.
Okay.
That's I think that's gonna be the very end. We're gonna get like another like reach out, like right before, like penultimate. And then we'll have things resolve and her coming home end of season, even though there'll be like a little bit of a cliffhanger about it. Because that's how the show goes. We end on cliffhangers.
Yeah. Do you believe that Alison and Shana were friends growing up?
Yes, but I don't know if I believe that Shana is
helping Allie out of the goodness of her heart.
Right, exactly. Like I do think she is still A's minion. And maybe actually still more closely working with Jenna, even though she claims to be like undercover essentially. But I do find it so funny. Arya's like, would she really do that? It's like you are dealing with people who go to even greater lengths to do things that are very, very minor. But next episode, A goes above and beyond. But I don't buy that Shana is a good friend now to be able to like hang out with them. But I was surprised that it actually turned out that Alison was there. I will say that. But I think that maybe Shana is still feeding information back. So while Alison may still think there is some good in Shana, she doesn't realize that Shana is actually not her friend.
What is Radley actually trying to hide with this settlement?
I still think it has something to do. I think like if it was either Cece or Alison that was up on that roof, with Toby's mom. I think that's what that other patient is. So they're like, that's what they're trying to settle because they don't want to out a very important board member's child or like close person there, because even if Cece was under her name, Allison's name there, right?
I don't remember.
I think that's what she was, because then Jessica says she got there and it was Cece. And I think Jessica was maybe called down to do damage control and it was Cece. So like on the paper, it's Alison. And so they're trying to like cover that up. Because it's, very important board member and all those things. And, Toby's mom is collateral damage in a sense, even if it was an accident, in covering up for the rich and powerful. And isn't that what Pretty Little Liars is all about? And also teen drama.
Is Jason actually in rehab? Or is Jason just out living life?
I think he's out living life and they can't track him down. I think that's what it actually is they have no idea what Jason is up to, and that they're trying to maybe like, even maybe if they don't, maybe they have some inkling that he's like trying to dig up things that would be bad for the family, for both Jessica and Peter. So,
both of his families.
Exactly. And so they're constantly trying to corral him, stop him doing things. You know what? I think Jason's sober out there because he had sobered up in between ending up in the hospital, right? And when he like drove and dropped the car there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I think he's on the straight and narrow doing things that are ruffling the feathers of his biological family. I don't think so. In general, I just don't think Jessica De Laurentiis is, because she's very calm, nice, composed. Like you'd be expecting the mother that you see in flashbacks with Alison. I think there's still that there.
Okay. I know very little about pool, but Hannah and Travis were playing it wrong, correct?
Yes. So because they just Travis sinks a shot and then Hannah's like, my turn. So yes.
And then she gets a shot and then it's his turn. And I'm like, don't you keep going?
Exactly. It's once you make a shot, you keep going. And so I mean, they at least had the like Hannah sunk in the wrong ball because she's hit a solid when she was supposed to be hitting stripes. Maybe they're just playing like
for funsies.
Right, so they're just switching off back and forth. It's a flirty pool.
Yeah. Why don't we ever play flirty pool?
Okay, we'll bring it out of the basement, put it in the foyer.
I forget that we have a foyer and a basement in our 2-bedroom apartment.
That's right. I just find it so funny that they have to craft this scenario where they're both playing pool, but because of the limited sets, they don't have another place for them to do.
They could have done it at like the bar.
I know. At school, in a rec room.
Yep.
It was like, cool. Hey, like I found this like a pool, and like Hannah was just like, oh, I was just looking for some place to be alone.
Yeah.
Come on in. Welcome to my pool table.
Would you like to talk about Jake now?
Yeah. I don't want to because getting rid of he is almost like too pure and like perfect for this show. So they had to send him off because like he's so emotionally intelligent.
He's so emotionally intelligent. They brought in this very like not even normal because he's like adult emotionally intelligent and like adult and like the healthy like safe way where you're like, in what world would you look at these two boys and pick the one that you picked?
Trauma bond. Just been through stuff. You know what?
Because he's the one traumatizing her, so it literally works.
Right. Arya's also participating in the sunk cost fallacy. You know what? Arya likes a problem, and she's like, I can fix this man. Arya, you're 17.
I get it, girly, but no.
Yeah, you can't fix this man. But yeah, he's just that entire like breakup scene. He like just knows. He's like, you're back with Fitz, aren't you? Like I kind of knew. Like I was second fiddle.
I was second guessing because you were distant.
Right, and then he stands his ground when she tries to like come back and like insinuate her to like be in his life some more, and it's just like, no, get out of here. You're supposed to just keep it or throw it away. Like I don't care what you do with this gift anymore. I don't know any other. There's no other Aryas in my life. So, R.I.P. to a real one.
What if he's A?
Jake with a big A in the middle. Could be. Except why is he setting? Who set up the knives in the punching bag?
Who did set up the knives in the punching bag?
That seems like a petty Fitz thing. It really does. And it also just looks like assembled kitchen knives.
Yeah, it looks like someone stuck a knife block backwards in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why? Okay, well, let me rephrase this actually. Do you think Emily's anger at Spencer is warranted?
Absolutely, 100%.
I don't. Spencer's trying to keep her alive. She thinks it's a trap.
I know, but like,
and when would it have not been a trap? Why would you trust Shana? She's been cozying up with Jenna.
Right.
She drives a Mustang. I don't trust her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust anyone who drives a Mustang.
Right. See, that's what we're all learning here. We match the color, match the car. But from Emily's perspective, like she has been fooled already last week.
Yeah, no, she's been taken before. She dug up a grave. She's been drugged. No, I'm sorry.
Right.
None of you should be going anywhere alone.
So at a certain point, you are going to have to take risks with trying to find Alison, if that is if that's what you're trying to do.
And I think that's okay, but I think her being mad that Spencer followed her is the problem. Because you have to take risks, but your friends don't want you to die.
Yeah, but yes. But Emily also outlined, like, I didn't want to lie to you. Don't make me mad. Don't like cross that boundary.
Yeah, but it's not a boundary when it comes to safety. She's trying to keep her safe.
Yeah.
I would have followed her. I wouldn't have let her go on her own. I wouldn't have gotten caught.
Spencer is extremely obvious and like stumbling over like.
Yeah, because she's on Adderall.
Not in that scene. Or actually, do we know? I don't know.
We don't know.
It's only in the next one where she's like extorting Andrew. But what was I going to say? But so like in terms of Emily's mind, like she's like, yes, this actually makes like.
Yeah, I get why Emily's upset, but like, not like for as long as she holds it out for.
Spencer is very controlling.
Uh-huh.
And when she crosses a boundary like that, and Emily is also extremely stubborn, she's like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done with you. And also to know that Emily was so close and Spencer ruined it.
Yeah, no, I get being annoyed, but I'm like, you can't stay mad for that long, because it's like she was trying to make sure you didn't get taken by A.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would you know? Like, A could have gotten that information from Allie. Like, how would you know, you know?
Right. And Shana would be extremely suspect.
Yeah, I don't trust Shana. So that's my theory on that.
I mean, you're probably right.
Last but not least, should we all go plate throwing? Because that sounds fun as hell.
Yeah, that actually looked pretty fun. I feel like that's a good way of getting out of your anger for sure.
Yeah. And it looks safer than the axe throwing thing people do.
Yeah,
I'm afraid of that.
I'm not into that either.
Me neither. It stresses me out that people do that.
Very much so.
I don't like that.
Because it's like drinking and axe throwing.
Yeah.
So. Oh, and I will say actually to go back around on Emily's rendezvous, I wouldn't have gone in the warehouse as soon as Shana drove away.
No.
You're like, wait, you're not coming in and you left? And we're in the middle of nowhere in the industrial district.
Are you gonna pick me up?
So that's why I was extremely surprised that Alison was even there. But, you know, she. Yeah, I mean, you're right. She doesn't actually really have a leg to stand on, but I understand why Emily's upset.
Yeah, no, I get why she's upset, but I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I have no further argument.
This isn't the first time you've done dumb shit, girly.
Mm-hmm. Extremely dumb shit. I don't think there's anything else. I think kind of the big stuff is next one too. So, yeah,
shall we?
Let's move on. Let's do it. All right, episode. This one, episode 88. I just remembered the part that makes me icky. Season 4, episode 17. Bite your tongue. Arya and Emily get back from the movies, and they went alone, not with like Spencer or Hannah. Arya accidentally brings up Spencer, which makes Emily mad. Arya sticks up for Spencer, and Emily is mad at her that Spencer tried to control her in the situation. Arya enters her own house to find a party that Mike is throwing, and Arya is mad and breaks up the party. Spencer looks at a photo of the diary. She calls Hannah to wonder what was happening in the entry she's looking at, which. There's so many layers to this episode. All right, this is a good one. Which has Alison on a date with an older guy. Hannah is reading a James Patterson book and has read 3 books this week by him, much to Spencer's surprise. And she's like, "Why didn't you you didn't go to the movies with like Arya and Emily?" And Hannah's like, "I wasn't invited to the movies because Emily was pissed at me that I wasn't pissed enough at you." Hannah's annoyance with the entire friend group this episode is great. Arya and Emily come upstairs and find Mona. She was invited by Mike. She walks away, and Arya and Emily are left stunned. Arya stops Mike on his way to school and asks about Mona. And he's like, yeah, we met at a group after school. It's a counseling group for kids. And Arya's pissed that he's getting close to Mona. And she asks if she was there, like, was she actually here? And then she uses the phrase, was she here to poop or snoop?
Well, because she was upstairs,
right,
looking for the bathroom.
She says Mona broke up our family, and Mike's like, no, that's like our parents' fault, and people need a second chance. Hear, hear. Enter Mona, like, embrace Mona in your heart. I was vehemently
love Mona, but once again, there's no leg to stand on there. Like, I'm on Arya's side.
Mona. I say you should trust Mona now. She has done enough. She was helping you guys. She gave
Hannah with a car. She hit Hannah with a car.
She didn't want to hit Hannah with a car. That was an accident.
And she came in and she apologized for signing the cast as A.
Pretty good. I mean,
she manipulated the wind to blow a flyer at them. I'm afraid of her.
You don't want a friend that's that creative? I don't know. I mean, I guess we're different.
He got out of Radley and broke into Hannah's house to be like, you have to stand with me at school. Like, you have to be You have to be cool with me so that I don't get bullied. Like, that's terrifying behavior.
Well, but like she also was going to take the fall for Hannah. She like got them all up to speed on everything she knows. She was like trying to
But did she?
investigate in the trailer. Probably not. But like, I mean, like, you know, if you'd let her get closer and maybe trust her a little more.
Why would you? She bullied you for a year straight. She had to go to a mental health facility.
I'm sorry if they can't handle the girl boss. I don't want to be friends with them either. What's a little gaslight and gatekeeping amongst friends?
I just think all Mona does is girl boss, and I don't think it's nice.
No, it's not very nice.
The girl boss is not nice.
It's not nice.
And the gaslight and the gatekeep go hand in hand with the girl boss, and it's all not nice. That's not a friend.
All I'm saying is they're just missing out. You know,
I love Mona.
Get on the Mona train before it's too late.
Big Mona fan. Love Mona as a character. But like once again, I see this angle.
Yeah, fair enough. Agree to disagree. Wayne investigated.
Are you saying that you would be okay with Mike dating Mona if Mike was your sibling?
Yes.
And Mona had spent the last year torturing you?
Yeah. I'd be like, Mike, you have great taste in partners. Welcome to the family. Mona, we can't wait to see you more.
Then when she hits you with her car, how are you going to feel?
Listen, in that situation, I'm Arya. I have no leg to stand on. Who am I to say who you love? Love is love. I date Fitz. Wayne investigated in a different family. Wayne investigated Emily's car, and her car is totally fine. She's worried about the GPS and the car shutting down. He's like, maybe someone triggered the anti-theft like system in there. He's worried about her, and she's like, nothing's wrong. Get off my back. I'm not paranoid, okay? And he asks her to drive to school, like, because it's gonna start raining out, and she's like, I'm just gonna take my bike. Fitz meets with Maggie, who's struggling with breaking her lease, and that's why she's back in town. She left Malcolm at home, which Fitz is pissed because, like, I was hoping I'd be able to see him. I just don't get to see him or have a relationship with him?
He's not your kid.
No, it's so wild.
You knew him for like 3 months. And I'm not saying you wouldn't meet a child and like it would be impactful and you could be like, hey, like I'd love to see them when I'm in the area just because, you know, like they're a cool kid and I appreciate that I got to get to know them in that way. But it's another thing to be like, I should get some sort of visitation.
Right. How dare you not bring him?
Because my mommy paid you off for years.
That's what the money is for. He's just collecting things to control them. Arya comes in and accidentally interrupts. Maggie leaves and Arya's upset for Fitz, and he says people get what they deserve eventually. Hannah's looking at the bookstore. Oh no, and the detective comes in. What was his name?
Holbrook?
Yes, Officer Holbrook. I put detective 2 brackets. I didn't go back and fill it in.
Is it Holbrook?
Officer Holbrook, I believe. Yeah. Or is that the woman?
Is that the woman? Tanner. No, Tanner's the woman, right?
Oh, Tanner. I think you're right.
Detective Tanner.
Mm-hmm. Is looking at books at the bookstore, and Officer Holbrook, who arrested Ashley, comes over and apologizes for doing that. He picks out The Land of Blood and Ice and says, "This, like, get this, you won't regret it." Hannah talks to Emily about the carjacking, and Emily's paranoid about A and everything, and Hannah tells Emily to bury the hatchet with Spencer, but she refuses. Spencer then walks up, and Emily walks away. Arya sees Mike and Mona talking from across the quad. She stops Mona and asks what she's up to and calls her cougar. Mona says Jesse, the counselor, warned me this would happen. And Arya says, you always have an agenda. And Mona says, no, it's you and your friends that have an agenda. I tried to help Hannah and you iced me out. Like, why did that happen? Like, seriously, like, why did that happen? And then Arya's silent, which speaks volumes. I put in parentheses.
It does not speak volumes. Mona spent a year plus torturing them?
Yeah, it's a new year. Spencer goes to make copies and runs into Andrew from the debate club. He says, did you forget about the physics test? And she's like, oh God, I totally did. He's like, I was up all night studying for it. And like, sleep is overrated. Spencer's like, oh, I'm going to dip out. Like, can you cover for me and like bring your physics note over later? And he's like, sure. Mona goes to visit Fitz. He wanted to see her and he says, please close the door, which she does with a creepy smile. Hannah is at the brew and freaks out over her book missing because she only had 2 more pages left. And then the bus table moves and she finds it. Officer Holbrook overhears her and says, I'm impressed. She says she only reads the end of the book, but he tells her she misses the whole twist and setup for the whole setup for the twist, and tells her the twist in the book comes down to dental records.
She reads the ends first, is I think what it is.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
So
yeah,
she can look for the clues as she reads it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I respect.
That's what I was gonna say. That's you and your mom.
And I don't do it with mysteries.
Right.
I used to do it like if I wanted to make sure a book had like a happy ending, or like to make sure like a character didn't die. Because I was like, I'm not gonna read this if like my favorite character dies.
Right. Yeah, which is fair.
Now I'm like, kill them all. But as a youth, I was a little more sensitive.
Your book on sale soon.
Yeah.
Kill them all. Kill them all.
I don't really think I didn't kill anyone in the first book.
No.
Death comes later.
Right. It's the guy who created Gundam, Tomino. That's what like he got a nickname as for like killing off characters. It was that Yoshiko like kill them all Tomino. So that'll be you for publishing world.
Yes. Once I get to the second, third book, that's when you start killing your darlings.
Yep. You get all that inspiration from Vampire Diaries.
But no one actually dies in that. They all come back.
I guess eventually, but I mean, there's a lot of people that are dead.
That's true. That are dead.
Yeah. And it all comes down to dental records. It always comes down to teeth. Ari goes to visit Jessie. She asks about the group and might befriending Mona. He's like, you should join the group. And Arya's like, no. Mona's got a bad record. They shouldn't be like fraternizing. He says, I don't discourage friendship. If 2 students meet, it's because they found solid ground. Fitz texts someone that we don't see the contact for that says, we hit a roadblock, re-alley. Wayne comes in to talk to him about Emily, and he's worried about her. He talks about Emily staying with Jessica and how that, her, mind state around, Alison, I think, really, threw off Emily, and, Wayne asks Fitz to help get Emily back on track since she seems to trust him. He offers to give her an extracurricular project to occupy her time after school. Wayne's like, that'd be great, thank you, and leaves, and then Fitz picks up his cell phone to make a call, all creepy-like. Eyes wide and being like, ugh. Spencer studies with Andrew, but is zoning out, and she's like, oh, Andrew, how are you getting all these things done? You're just top of the class? You're an athlete?
What a boss babe.
Yeah. Where's your study aid? Cough it up. And he's like, I have a legitimate prescription, but gives her a few. He was suspicious of why she asked him over, and he's like, I was hoping you were, done with the carpenter. To which I reply, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Really? You think, I guess shoot your shot, Andrew, but, not a chance in hell. It's Toby you're talking about here. Emily gets woken up by noise on the window. She goes to close her window and hears the stairs creaking. She then grabs scissors and goes to attack as the door opens, and Wayne is there, and he catches her arm because, he's in the military. Camera pans and we see a handprint on the outside of her window. Spencer recreates the older guy diary entry. She imagines Alison on the date. The date reviews her stories, gives her feedback. He says, as you grow up, your writing will get more mature. And then they have a date at a bar called The Heart and the Huntsman. He eats boysenberry pie with a beer, and Alison makes fun of him for his order. Back in the present, Spencer goes over to Hannah's. I wonder who it could be. I'm glad that they just revealed it since it was so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah's mad Spencer woke. Spencer's over at Hannah's, and Hannah's mad that Spencer woke her up at 4 a.m. Spencer says the Heart and the Huntsman is a pub outside Hollis College, and Hannah is going to go to the dentist tomorrow to find out more about dental records for identifying Allison's body. She thinks that someone swapped the x-rays for the bodies, and that's how they identified Alison, based on these fake dental records. Thank you. Reading really pays off. Arya sees Maggie and goes to talk to her. Arya grills her on leaving town and not bringing Malcolm. Maggie says it's none of your business. Arya's mad about Maggie having her keep a lie about Malcolm's parentage, and Maggie says that's rich coming from a student sleeping with their teacher. Arya grabs her, angrily, and Maggie drops the box she's carrying, and then runs off after Arya tries to apologize. Arya talks to Emily about the situation and is like, oh god, I really freaked out. Emily says it's okay. Who cares about what Maggie would say anymore? You aren't seeing Fitz anymore, right? Emily says she's been enrolled by her dad to direct the school play with Fitz, and then they see Mike and Mona kissing. So this is the other great smash cut is while we see them kissing, we hear Hannah gargling and gagging and spitting up at the dentist. Dentist gives us an update, Gypsy from Gilmore Girls gives us an update on Sean being at a boarding school. And everybody loves Sean. Don't you remember Sean? We all love Sean.
I literally, could not remember Sean.
The dentist leaves her alone, and Hannah wants to go look at the office room. Spencer goes to visit the Heart and the Huntsman and sees who else but why Fitz is there. And he's eating a boysenberry pie or maybe a blackberry pie. I can't quite remember, with a beer. He was
No,
going
he
off.
doesn't have a beer.
Oh, he doesn't have a beer?
No, he's just
Okay.
having the pie, and
The
he
pie.
cancels the second half of his order.
Right, and then heads off.
Mm-hmm.
And the pie was based on a recommendation, supposedly from the waitress. Dennis comes in and sees Hannah's not in her chair. It's like, oh, she must have had to go home and couldn't stay for the final results. I'm going to close up. Goodbye. Hannah is inside the file room and steals the patient list from the day after Alison went missing. Arya leaves Fitz a voicemail about Maggie. Jesse spots her as he walks in. Arya packs up her things, but is stopped by Jesse. He asks if she would like to join the group after school, and she says no. She says, I just need an outlet for my anger. He says, my door is always open, and she says, I don't want to lose Mike. Hannah goes back to sitting in the patient chair, then someone in a coat walks in behind her, who she thinks is the dentist, but then they come and put gas on her until she falls asleep, and then is putting out the numbing stuff, to which I was getting very nervous. Spencer speaks to the waitress at the bar, and it's like he ordered a boysenberry pie and beer. She imagines Fitz on the other end of the conversation with Alison that was written in the diary. Spencer then notices the beer bottle. This is the ultimate kicker that really got me. Turns it around, and it's called Baja Board Shorts Beer.
Mm-hmm.
In this scene, Emily is at the school late at night, but there's no soundtrack. So most of the scenes in the show is usually soundtracked by like some sort of
instrumental, if not.
Yeah, exactly. If not a actual thing. So just to have it dead silent was actually really cool. And really they make it much more eerie. Late night at the school, Emily's making copies. She hears a door shut and goes to look. She calls to ask if it's Fitz, but there's no answer. She goes to leave copies on his desk when his classroom door shuts. Suddenly, heavy metal plays over the intercom. She calls her dad to pick her up, and she looks at the school message board. It's the digital message board, and it says, act normal, bitch. Emily goes to hide. Hannah wakes up in the dental chair with blood on her mouth. Emily tries to open the window, but can't. She sees her dad pull up and shouts for him. Wayne finds the front door of the school locked. Emily sees someone in a hoodie try to break in to the room she's in. Emily breaks a window and calls for Wayne. He climbs the building to come help her. The person continues to bang on the door. Wayne gets the window open and she escapes. The black hoodie looks out the window and sees them get away. As they get down, Wayne passes out and Emily calls an ambulance. In the next scene, Wayne is awake on a stretcher and reassures Emily that she's all right, he's all right, and we can tell mom about this later. I didn't tell you that I was home actually because I needed to go to the doctor. I have a heart condition, but I think it's just stress. I'm gonna get it under control. He came home to get tests done on it, so they don't know what it is yet. Emily sees someone move upstairs in the school. Arya has Emily staying at her house. Emily wanted to stay at the hospital because she's worried about her dad and the attack. Arya invited Spencer over to help, and Spencer walks in and hugs Emily. Hannah then shows up close behind. She tells him about the dentist and A. The appointment pages are gone from her bag. Hannah thinks A numbed her gums, and Arya asks who this monster is, and Spencer looks around like, who's to say? Hannah asks them to look in Hannah's mouth. Spencer then uses tweezers to pull something out of her mouth, and it's a tiny note from A that says, I told you dead girls can't smile, stop looking. A gloved hand shreds the appointment list. They take the shreds and then put them in a dish, and the dish is used at the bottom of the birdcage for Tippy, who says, hey, board shorts, and then we see a map on the wall of Cape May with Wilden's yacht location marked in red.
Okay. Yeah. First and foremost, we love Hannah in her bookish era.
Yeah, no, I think that's such a good turn. Where she's like, you know what? Instead of getting into shows or something like that, I'm just gonna spend all my time shut in at home reading mystery novels. Mm-hmm. Great, so good.
Yeah,
and I think it's a really good turn for how annoying I find the ditzy blonde.
Yeah.
To be able to do this and give her another time to be I'm gonna come up with a solution.
Yeah. Hannah's trust her gut.
Yeah.
Why was Mona in Arya's room? Was she there to poop or snoop?
Oh, she's definitely there to snoop. Mona's always there to snoop.
Yeah.
We know better than even if she is pooping, she's gonna go snooping. If it, no, I don't have any other phrases that I'm going to go with that there. But she's keeping tabs on them, of course. Like, she's got to know, like, do they know things that could potentially, like, be bad for her? And fair enough.
Does Ezra actually want to see Malcolm, or is he just annoying?
Probably, but like I also get the sneaking suspicion. I do think there's this sincerity there that like he got close to this child.
Okay.
But I do think also that there is the part of him that is angry that we don't see often, that we now see more often, with people, and how he wants to control people. Well, control women. And I think that's like a big thing playing a role here with like his anger with Maggie, and how he tries to play it off. And then his gaslighting Arya of being like, he's just trying to make me look bad.
Who else do we know that loves to control?
Maybe?
Or who was the original one who loved to control the girls?
I don't know. Mona?
No, further back. Who was controlling their friend group?
Alison. Isn't that interesting? Birds of a feather flock together.
What were Mona and Ezra talking about in the classroom?
Yeah, I was curious if she, like, was he the one that sent the text about Alison to Mona? Is she being brought in to the schemes that way? And like, did she offer something up to him eventually of like pointing in her direction? I do think Mona's on the other side, or sorry, is on the A side, not the Alison side. Because I don't think Alison would trust her in a million years, or even like think she was close to her, because Alison was also extremely mean to her. So I think there's probably some sort of game where Mona is trying to also feed and track down. They're trying to help out like Fitz there. At least like with like information and things. Like it's like enemies joining up, I think is what the idea. Like I think she's probably more closer. No, I my suspicion is she's like a lone wolf kind of thing, like run it, but still like connected to these people.
What do we think of Jesse, the guidance counselor?
I got like youth pastor vibes off him, but he seems nice.
Okay.
I'm just like, hey, you know, I'm just here to help the kids, just like positivity, like sort of thing. Like it's okay, like we're doing good. I don't think there's anything nefarious going on with him. Okay. It'd be a good turn if there was. But at least in this episode, he's just like, Arya, like, there's a lot of anger going on here, and she's like, no, there isn't. But he's he just kind of seems like he's just like there to help out.
Be mad too if you'd been tortured for a year straight and they let the girl come back to school?
Yeah, I'd be a little mad.
I'd be a little mad.
Yeah, for sure.
A little scared. What do we think of Spencer and her potentially newfound love stimulants?
Right. I think she's the right character to do this, and it's interesting that they're doing like a pulled from the headlines sort of thing. And there's a lot of that stuff. I think like even doing a show that's kind of centered around like cyberbullying and things like that, of like teen concerns. And I did like a quick like look. I was like, because this is we were in college at this time, because this is airing at the beginning of 2014, and it's like, we were in college. Sorry. So it's like, this is definitely the time of like Adderall like being like a new concern, but also a big thing amongst like college students. And then the concern of like Adderall addiction and like overdoses is like, that was definitely around this time. I did like quick like look back. I was like, were there news articles around this in 2013? Definitely was on like the rise in like colleges. So they picked like, of course, like the right like character who's like, I'm type A and trying to figure this out. And also the character who is most willing, that's just like, I'll do whatever I can to get ahead. Like, so you would kind of like pointed the flag of like, there is like these like addiction things plot lines going on here. And I think it's at least this is starting out in an interesting direction. And it's like,
this is one of the better ones, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah. I think it's pretty like, I mean, it's not overt because they aren't like showing her like take anything, but they're like keeping it a little subtle, and it's like putting her in like funny situations.
Yeah, I think hers and I think Jason's is done decently well. Like his kind of journey with addiction thus far, even because it's like they even show like a relapse, and then like they don't make him a villain for that. Like
No.
But then like Emily's issue, not so much.
It was like just to be a plot point, like leverage. So it was just kind of like, and then she's no longer drinking anymore, which
then,
I mean, she scared herself for sure.
Yeah.
But
And then there's one more later where another character or two develop an alcohol issue that from what I remember, it's like pretty meh. And then it's like over, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's probably in bad taste, and I'm sure it's like the black and white episode being what it is probably like, yeah, this probably isn't. This isn't a. I'm assuming if it's like since like
I
a
think
break.
It's supposed to be played more as sleep deprivation because she's not sleeping this whole time because of the Adderall.
Right.
So I think that's what makes it kind of more interesting is that it's not like, oh, like it's not focused on like addiction per se. It's focused on like if you deprive your body of its basic needs like sleep,
right,
your brain's not gonna do the good.
It
doesn't matter how much time you can stay awake if you can't think,
right.
exist. Reality is no longer tethered.
Right, exactly. And right now it's helping her because like it's not this long or anything. And also she's not working on school. She is instead investigating. And coming over to Hannah's house at 4 a.m.
Whose handprint was outside of Emily's window?
I wonder if that's Alison from coming and visiting. I don't know if it was like someone like immediately there looking at her. But I could see like Alison maybe like keeping an eye on her or something, or coming by. Rather than something more nefarious.
Are Mona and Mike, is this an innocent coupling or is Mona using Mike?
Oh. It can't be. It can't be innocent. Like she's got to be doing it just to get under like Arya's skin. I don't know if they're endgame, like, you know, wild to be, but like I just think it's probably Mona is always running schemes. So I don't think it's completely innocent. I think it, you know, it maybe happened organically, but I think Arya is probably onto something. But I find it very good, and especially Arya just being incredibly uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
Because then it just like makes her want to pull her hair out, and I think Arya in like angry mode, yeah.
Yeah, it's
good.
It's more fun. When and where did A learn to do dentistry?
My God, I was so worried about this. I have like I guess it'd be like a dental phobia. Like I don't like stuff with teeth. I don't like things about dentists. I don't like
interpersonally.
Have you met them? No, it makes me feel very queasy and gross, and I do not like it. I was very worried what they were going to do to her. So at least what it ended up being was okay and super silly and so good. Just for the note to be implanted in her molar.
That's that's when I think of an A clue. This is what I think of.
Oh.
This
so good.
And the line about like, I'll tell the cops what your mom's keeping.
Oh.
Like, call off your techno boy toy, or I'll tell the cops what your mom's keeping in the lasagna box.
Oh.
But that one's not the delivery; it's the copy. It was really good copy.
It was.
Mona was out there writing clues. She was out there having a good time. Current A,
above and beyond, like
the delivery is really good, but like the actual like copy, not so great.
Yeah, it's still not good. It's just like, I told you, dead girls don't smile, don't stop looking. It's fine. That's a C plus, B minus. But good God, like maybe A was a dentist, got dental school before then. Oh. You know, like a multi hyphenate like Ashley. Oh, yeah. I can be a banker, I can be a realtor, and A's like, I can be a stalker, and I can also operate your car, and I can also give you a filling.
Why did Ezra hide that he knew Allie? Or do we think Spencer's wrong?
No, he hid it. I think he definitely hid that he knew Allie.
Do you?
Which I think is playing into my theory that like him meeting Arya was no accident.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. I was like, then do you think it's purely coincidental that they met?
No, I think now that we know about Alison being around, I think he's been involved with things a lot longer. We would have known. I do think that it was originally. Maybe we'll get actually more. That's more of a theory corner thing. We'll save it.
Is it A or Ghosts or Ezra that was chasing Emily in the school?
Oh, I almost wondered if it was Alison there, like just trying to be like, well, no, never mind.
No, because the scary clues.
Yep. I was like,
normal bitch.
False. Exactly. So I think that was definitely A, trying to like really like get after her and chase her and scare her. I don't know what the end goal was to like knock her out. What were you gonna do? I do know that like scaring her for sure, but like, you know, running after her and jiggling the lock and stuff like that. What were you gonna do? Kill her? Maybe.
Is Wayne gonna be okay?
Oh, this seems like bad times for Wayne here. Seems like he's like, it's just stress. We all know that's a lie, Wayne. I think Wayne might be leaving the show soon.
In a body bag?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if Wayne's going to be okay. This seems like an exit for the character, potentially.
And last but not least, but the most important question, who has Tippy?
Does have Tippy. I had so forgotten about Tippy.
You know, you can never fully forget about Tippy.
Yeah, I think it's A team, because then that's why they also deleted the dental records to say that like Allie was dead. Because I think the A team was, they did that to then try and like track down and trap Alison. You know, if she can't go back, like she's dead. So I don't know. Maybe Fitz has Tippy at a. Maybe that's what's under the floorboard in the cabin.
Arya didn't hear it.
Soundproof.
You ever met a quiet bird?
Tippy's not quiet. It's soundproof down there.
It's a board that opens up.
Yeah, but like have you seen what A can do?
That's true.
Yeah, that's a soundproof. A can do a filling. Exactly. What else could an A do?
How do you think A comes up with these?
No. They're creative. See, they're a creative writing major. That's why. So you know that's why Fitz is. I don't know. A must have a lot of time on their hands. I mean, we've known that, I guess, but
well, that's all I got for you. Are you ready to take us to Theory Corner?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now I'm ready. Let us step into.
Infinity.
Theory Corner. We've done it before. I'll do it again. Welcome to Theory Corner, everybody. So, we are going to look at the facts that we have in front of us. Fitz met Alison, obviously, when he was going to school at Hollis. I think in terms of his play, I think he probably met her when she was like doing what she usually did. It's like, I'm going to go like hang out at a fraternity and blah, blah, blah. And like, what he thought was maybe like more of another college student or something like that. And so, which ended up getting him embroiled in all kinds of other stuff. And then so being close to her and seeing that kind of people were after her, like, and then her like whole disappearance, I think dropped him into this like wider world of like, what the hell happened? It's probably also when he maybe figured out who she was, and then it became a like self-preservation thing where he's like trying to be like, I wasn't having a relationship with like a freshman essentially, and trying to like then cover his tracks. And someone probably came to him that was part of the A thing, figured out who he was and said, you are like, she is still alive, and blackmailed him and got him to be the bankroll for the A fund corporation, whatever. And then send him to do espionage, which is how we end up with him once he graduates at Rosewood and meeting Arya in the bar.
Okay.
So I think the Arya in the bar thing, it was maybe like, not planned, but then she comes in and he makes that connection. And then that's where it becomes like where he's keeping tabs on them to try and find out where Alison is. And so he's connected to the wider A-web. Mona maybe like prods him a little and then gets him to like reach out about like, trying to share and like find Alison, which Mona's also trying to do, but I don't think she's maybe made the A connections when she met up with like Jenna and Shana about like selling the car and all that stuff. I think maybe the car was a way of Mona extorting from them or like trading things. It's like, I will tell you this, but you have to give me the car. And so then they get played in there. And I think Shana is still more on like Jenna's side. I think that relationship there is very real.
Mm-hmm.
And so was probably next door neighbors with Alison. They were friends with their kids, but like knowing Alison, probably as they got older, absolutely 100% mistreated her.
Mm-hmm.
And Shauna's like, what the hell? Like this racist blonde girl is gonna like, like, no, I like hate this girl, or like is trying to get revenge on her for like something.
Mm-hmm.
Meets Jenna and her kick this thing off, and like, they both hate her. Like there's this like me like, and then develop this relationship. It's kind of like when Jenna rolls into town in those earlier ones, and Lucas and Mona are both kind of like, well, hey, how's it going? We also hate Alison.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of cabal there. And I still think there's probably some wider things of like Jenna's motivation of a connection to like some NAT club secret or like big piece of information that's sitting there. And that's why Allison's like on the run, doesn't know who's after her and all that good stuff. So I just don't know what that is yet. I think those are all the players.
Okay.
And maybe Melissa is the one that's sitting on top of this all, because Melissa is connected to Jenna and Shana.
Not complicated at all.
No, super straightforward. I mean, everybody understands. I think that's where we're going. And I still think that while Cece was involved with the A team, is more helpful. It was actually trying to help Alison. I do think that friendship is real. And that Cece then had the other team found out, and that's why she got pinned. Wilden's murder on her, and that's why she's on the run, because she crossed them.
I will also allow you to have one guess on. So the 2 thing is not the most outlandish A clue we will get, or not A clue, but like thing A does to someone. Can you guess on what? What do you think? What do you think?
What the mechanism would be,
or like what A would do to someone? To be like, here's a reminder that I'm here, but whatever.
Like a tattoo, maybe?
Oh, that's good.
I
didn't think of that.
What else could they do? Shave their heads or something, and then it's like has their name written in their like shaved hair,
like an Angelica doll.
Right? Exactly. It's the 3 like hanging up.
At one point, A does cut someone's hair, so you're there.
Okay, I'm on the right track.
Just like a little trim,
Trying to think what else this show would like push. I don't think A is gonna start like amputating like toes or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe it's like, I told you that this little piggy should go home. A.
You had been in the writers' room.
Right? Be like, whoa. Keeps coming up with all these graphic things.
He's taking off toes.
Stop saying this.
Okay, cool. I just wanted you to have some guesses.
Those are my guesses.
They're not even close. It's so fucking outlandish.
All right. Maybe we should give someone like a grill or something.
Botox.
Right. Yeah, for free.
Cool. Any final theories, thoughts, questions, concerns?
I'm tapped out.
Okay, cool.
All right. See you all next time. Goodbye.
You wanna what are they called?
Plug it up?
Yep.
Yeah. We are on YouTube at dead_ends if you're
you didn't sound sure.
you're listening to the audio podcast. You can also find us on all your podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. You can also for now find us on Co-host, where I'll be posting. Well, both of us might be posting, just like little write-ups after the episode, when it goes up. And you can also find anything else we're up to on our link tree. And rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. So, yeah. Here's to even better episodes, because that last episode was really good.
It was really good. I was a little worried about the teeth thing, because I remembered that, and I was like, oh no. That's what I said at the beginning of the episode. I was like, oh no.
I was very
I was like,
worried
you
as well.
might not like this one. I couldn't remember how, like, if you saw it.
Right. I was a little concerned, but ended up okay. I was okay with just a weird note.
All right.
But, yeah, on that note, we're still here. We're going to find out.
Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.